Hello students, welcome to this session. Just solved this NEET test 83. It is 12:15 a.m. right now, and here's the analysis of the physics paper. There were two questions that were not printed properly. 10th you can make out even then also, but 7th you cannot make out because there is some lines that has been vanished. 4 questions I have regarded tough. You might find 1-2 of them not to be as tough. 18 were medium, 21 were easy. So paper were of normal difficulty, but yes, it had some very good questions in it. And going by this, because 2 questions are gone, so it is basically 172 not 180 out of which I am talking about. So anyone doing decent in physics should get 120 plus here, and very good students should get 155 plus in this paper, or 150 plus 155 I think might be bit higher. So 150 plus in this paper. So let's see what is it. Now the first question: the distance of closest approach of an alpha particle fired towards a nucleus with momentum p is r. If the momentum of the alpha particle is 2p, the corresponding distance of closest approaches. So momentum is 2p, you know kinetic energy depends on p square. That means kinetic energy has become 4 times, and you know the logic is the initial kinetic energy of alpha that goes into the potential energy that becomes 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2, that is 2e into z of e upon r minimum. So clearly if kinetic energy, momentum doubles, kinetic energy becoms 4 times, so that r min, if you solve, that would be 1 upon k of alpha. So if it becomes 4 times, it will become r by 4. So we'll go for option D. Next, energy of an hydrogen atom with principal quantum number is given by this. The energy of the photon ejected when electron jumps from 3 to 2 state is respectively. So for 3 to 2, you know the difference from this. N equal to 2, you know that has an energy of minus 3.4 eV. N equal to 3, you know has an energy of minus 1.5 eV. The gap is 1.9 eV. So that is 1.9 eV. So what you needed? Energy. So that is 1.9 eV. That is option. Now the third one: a 10-gram bullet moving directly upward at 1000 meter per second strikes and passes through the CM of 10 kg block initially at rest. Bullet emerges with an upward speed of 400. What will be the velocity of the block just after the bullet comes out? Simple momentum conservation you will apply. What you will say, initial momentum is that 10 gram, that is 10 into 10 to the power minus 3, going with 10 to the power 3 meter per second. It has 0, that much kg. And finally what it has, it is 10 into 10 to the power minus 3. I am not writing unit because that remains same, into 400 plus 10 kg into that V. So if you do this, all are in SI units. This is 10. This comes out as again 4 plus 10V. So 10V is 6. So V is 0.6 meter per second. So it will go up with 0.6 meter per second. So we will go for option D here. So basic momentum conservation. Next, a uniform solid circular cone of base radius r is joined to a uniform solid hemisphere of radius r and of the same density, so has the common face. Center of mass of the composite solid lies on the common face. The height of the cone is. So now the CM of the composite solid lies on the common face. So it lies on the common face. So first of all, what we know, for a solid circular cone and you have a solid hemisphere. So for the solid hemisphere, we know the CM will be at this distance. This distance you call as 3r by 8. And for the cone, we know that this is at this height of what we write, this is as h by 4. And now the common is coming out like here. So what would be the relationship? So the relationship that we have now, that we can say, because CM is here, so what I can say, mass of cone into h by 4 should be equal to mass of hemisphere into what we can write, 3r by 8. This is the first thing. Now because the density is same, okay, so mass of cone, you know, would be rho into volume. Volume would be 1 by 3 pi r square h. That into h by 4, that is equal to hemisphere. So uniform solid hemisphere, the hemisphere would be rho into 2 by 3 pi r cube into 3r by 8. That is what you get. So this is cancelled. This pi and pi this pi and pi goes, 3 and 3 goes. This r square will go, this will remain r. So what you are left with, and rho goes. So this is h square by 4. And here what you are left with, that would be 3r square by 4. I can make it out. So this goes, so the value of h directly comes out as root 3r. So just you need to remember the CM of the two and just do this. So it's a nice question. It is going to be tough, I feel, for most of the students. Next, wheel which is initially at rest is subjected to a constant angular acceleration. It rotates by an angle 15 degree in time t. The increase in angle in which through which it rotates in the next 2 t seconds is. So directly you can say in the first t second it goes by half alpha t square, that is let's say 15 degree. Now in the next two, so what I can say in the next two is in the complete 3t I can write, because it is starting from rest, again omega naught is 0, that would be 15 degree plus theta additional. So now take the division, you will have 9 by 1 is equal to 15 degree plus theta additional upon 15 degree. So what you have, you directly have this theta additional would be 15 degree into 8, that is 120 degree, that you can go for option B in this case. Next, question number 6. You have a tube of length L filled completely with an incompressible liquid of mass m closed at both ends. Tube is then rotated in horizontal plane about one of its ends with a uniform angular speed omega. The force exerted by the liquid at the other end is okay. So this is like this. This tube is filled incompressible. It is rotated about this end with angular speed omega. So what is the force it exerts at the other end? So what I can say, for the force exerted at the other end, what I can directly say, because of being in circular motion, it has a tendency to pull this end outwards, so this will push it inwards. So the best thing is, see this liquid as a system, and this would be the force additional that would be acting from the end, and that would be the centripetal force. So this F from the end would be equal, that would be the, you can directly say, is required centripetal force. Now how to find this required centripetal force? So just go at a distance x, take a small element like this. I say this is dm, dm would be, I can say m into dx. We can say the speed of this would be omega x, so the force on it, df requirement of centripetal force would be dm into that, what I can say, omega square x, you can directly write. So that becomes omega square m by l x dx. So for complete, the requirement would be this f end that will get integrated from 0 to L. So m by L omega square comes out, it will become as L square by 2. So it is coming out as m omega square L by 2. So the value that we will be searching is option A, directly we can go for. Next, when a resistor of 11 ohm is connected in series with an electrical cell in series, the current increases by 0.5 ampere. The internal resistance of the cell is okay. So when resistor is connected, the current increases by 0.4 ampere. The internal resistance of the cell is going to be. So I think there should be some issue in it. I think this is some missing, because the data doesn't seems to me that it is perfect. So I can't comment on it before by solving it. So it is tough, I suppose. It is not going to be solved. There's something missing. There's some printing issue here, or some typing issue, you can say. Next, the total current supplied to the given circuit by the battery is. So the total current supplied to the given circuit by the battery is okay. So what we will have, let's say this is A, this is B, this is again going to be A, and what you have, let's say this is C. So what we have, so across the ends we can say this is the battery 9 volts, this is A, this is B. So between A and B we directly have this 3 ohm, and now what we have, this C is the intermediate. So B and C we have this 1.5 ohms, and this 6 and 2 will be in, what I can say, they will be in parallel. So directly I can say 6 into 2, 12 by 8, that is 1.5. So this 1.5 in series, that becomes 3. So 3 and 3, so the current would be, the equivalent would be 3 by 2, that is 1.5. So I would be 6 ampere. So you can go for option B. So it's not a tough one, you can make it out. Next, in a series LCR circuit, the potential drop across LCR are this and this and this. Then the source voltage is, directly you can say V source would be equal to VR square plus VL minus VC whole square under root. That is the result that you remember for RMS value that you would use here. So this is R is what you have 60 square, and this difference is 120 minus 40, 80 square. So it comes out as 100 volts. So option D would be there. Again an easy one for you. The maximum voltage in DC circuit is 282 volt. The effective voltage in AC circuit will be. So the maximum voltage in DC circuit, you know DC circuit has the same voltage. So the effective voltage in AC circuit will be, I should say the effective voltage in AC should be 282 only. So by the logic, I think they were talking about the AC, and the effective voltage in DC they were be asking for, that would be the RMS one, that is 282 by root 2, then they will be 200 volt. But in the given language the question is not correct. Next, For the circuit shown in figure, the charge on 4 microfarad capacitor is, so look at the figure, this is 10 volt on the 4 microfarad where it is. Okay, so we are not bothered with 3, we are looking at this is 5 and 1 6, so 4 and 6 are in series, so I can directly make out the potential division would be the voltage drop across 4 microfarad, because the charge in series is same. So charge is same, so what we have, Q is same, so V is inverse to C, so inverse to C, that would be 6 upon 6 plus 4 into 10, so the voltage drop would be 6 volt. So the charge on this 4 microfarad would be CV, that is 4 6 are 24 microcoulombs, so I'll go for option C here, 24 microcoulombs. Next one. A charge Q placed at the center of a metallic spherical shell with inner and outer radii R1 and R12 respectively. The normal component of the electric field at any point on the Gaussian surface with a radius between R1 and R2 will be. Okay, so charge Q is placed at the center of a metallic spherical shell. It's like this. This is Q and this is a metallic shell like this. This is R1 and this is R2. So you know, if you take the Gaussian surface here, it is inside the meat of the conductor, volume of the conductor, so electric field is going to be 0. So no point in doing further, it's directly basic conductor theory. Next, you have a planet of mass m in elliptical orbit around the sun within period 10. If A be the area, then the angular momentum. This is a standard result, what you know, dA by dt, that remains constant. Aerial velocity that you say is constant, and that is equal to L upon 2 times mass of planet. So dA by dt for complete orbit area is A and time period is T, that is L upon 2m. So the value of what you need, L, the value of L would be 2ma by T. So you can directly go for option A. I think this is getting repeated. This is asked previously also in some paper. Satellite is launched into a circular orbit of radius r around the Earth. The second launched with a radius slightly greater. The period of the second is larger than the first one by approximately, you know, t square is proportional to r cube. So for small changes you can say 2 delta t by t is equal to 3 delta r by r. So here the percentage change is 2%, so that would be 3 into 2%, and this is 2 delta t by t. So this delta t by t comes out as 3%. So what you can say, let me write it clearly, the percentage change in time period would be 3%. So go for option D. Next one. The temperature of the sun were to increase from T2 to T2 and radius from R to 2R, the ratio of radiant energy received on Earth will become. So that would mean that will change by the same ratio as the total energy emitted by sun, that is proportional to A into T to the power 4, or you can say R square T to the power 4. So R is doubled, so this becomes 4 times R square 2 square, and this becomes 2 to the power 4 16, so it becomes 64 times. So go for option D. Next, a gas for which gamma is 1.5 is suddenly compressed to the 1/4 of the initial volume, then the ratio of the final to the initial pressure is. So simply what you will write, suddenly means it is taken as adiabatic. Just remember, everything suddenly means it is taken as adiabatic. So for adiabatic process, what we can write, P initial V initial to the power gamma is P final V final to the power gamma, and what we are with P initial upon P final, or we have to write final upon initial, so write that only. P final upon P initial would be V initial upon V final to the power 1.5, and it is compressed, so it is 4 to the power 1.5, that is, you can directly say 4 is 2 to the power 2 square, that would be 2 cube, that becomes as 8. So the ratio is 8:1. Go for option D. So this is a basic question on thermo. Next, your 2 moles of an ideal gas at 300 Kelvin were cooled at constant volume so that the pressure is reduced to half the initial value. That means temperature will also become half, because its constant volume P is proportional to T. So it is from 300 to 150 Kelvin, you can make it out. Then as a result of heating at constant pressure, the gas expands till it's attained the original temperature. The total heat absorbed by the gases. So this was done volume constant, and now again this is done using pressure constant. So was the heat received in the first process, you can say, would be equal to, or heat lost, that would be NCV delta T, so it would be negative, and what would be 2 into CV into delta T is minus 150, so it is negative minus 300 CV. In the second, it will absorb 2 into Cp into 150, that is plus 300 Cp. So the net heat absorbed, Q1 plus Q2, if you do, they will be subtracting out 300 Cp minus Cv, and that is always for ideal gases R. So the answer is 300 R. Go for option B. You must have done such question, I suppose, in your practices some time or other. Next, wire is bent in the form of a right angle triangle PQR carries a current 1 ampere. It is placed in a region of uniform field of 0.2 Tesla going there. If PR is 1 meter, okay, the net force on the wire is. So what is the net force on the wire? So you know, in a uniform field, this is a closed loop, then a current carrying loop, the net force is always 0, so no need to calculate anything. If it is asked about some side, you should have calculated, otherwise there is no point in it. The current carrying loop in a uniform field will not experience any force because it is a magnetic dipole, and dipole doesn't experience a force in a uniform magnetic field. Similarly, electric dipole doesn't experience a force in a uniform electric field, that you know. Now, in the figure shown, a current I1 is established in the long straight wire, and the wire CD carrying I2 is placed in the plane of the paper. If the line joining the ends of the wire is perpendicular to the wire AB, the resultant force on the wire CD is. Now, first thing, just remember, don't do it like this, the effect is remaining like this, because that can be done if the field is uniform. The field is not uniform here, so better to look at the two wires in isolation. So if I take any of this element like this, what we have, the magnetic field would be inward. So if I do that, L cross B, it would be like this here. And we know as we are going here, the distance is increasing, though this force is greater, this is lesser, this is again lesser, 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 lesser. And similarly here, if you do this L cross B, because field is inwards, it would be there, but because it is going further away, the magnitude keeps on decreasing. So these forces are not symmetric, that their y component will cancel out or x component will cancel out here. It won't be exactly along x, it won't be exactly along y, it would be somewhere in between. So I'll go for none of these. So just remember, let me depict more beautifully to you. It would be something like this. This is maximum, this reduces, I've reduced again too much, this reduces, this reduces, this further reduces, reduces like this. So the forces won't cancel up like this, so it won't be along positive y, it won't be along positive x. Next, steel wire having a length L, magnetic moment M. It is bent in L shape, the new magnetic moment is. So what we know here directly, what we use that magnetic moment M is proportional to the small l, or you can say the pole separation, pole to pole separation, you can say. So initially it was L, now the pole separation, you can make it out, would be L by root 2. So since the separation become 1 by root 2, so the magnetic moment will also become 1 by root 2, go for M by root 2 next. A body is thrown up in a lift with a velocity of 5. Relative to the lift and time of flight is found to be 0.8. The acceleration with which the lift is moving up is. So what we have, u of body with respect to lift is plus 5, let's taking upward direction is positive. Now acceleration of ball with respect to lift would be AB minus AL. So acceleration of ball is minus G, and lift, let's say it is going up with AL, so it would be AL like this. Now, so to return to lift, the displacement of ball with respect to lift is 0, and that time is given as 0.8 seconds. So apply the second equation, what you will get, 0 is equal to 5 into 0.8 ut plus half at square, and A is negative, I can take out because both are negative, so just put minus sign here, into G plus AL into 0.8 square. So what you will have, 5 into 0.8 multiplied by 2, it is equal to G plus A of lift into 0.8 square, that is 0.8 into 0.8 I can write, because 1.8 would be cancelled. So it is 10 upon 0.8, that is G plus AL, G is to be taken as 10 upon 0.8, that is 100 by 8, that is 12.5 is G plus AL, that means AL is 2.5 meter per second square. You can safely take the option C here. So again, this is a question on relative motion. Next, an aeroplane is flying horizontally with velocity 216 kmph at a height of 1960 meter. When it is vertically above a point A on the ground, a bomb is released, the bomb strikes the ground at point B. So it is something like this. The plane was here, directly above A, it releases the bomb, the packet. So the packet will carry the history, that is its velocity would be equal to velocity of plane initially, and it will go in a projectile path like this, and this would be the distance d I am talking about. So I know this d would depend on the time of flight, and the horizontal component will remain same, that is u into t, and this t you directly know is equal to root 2 h by g. So what is u? 216 kmph. So 216 into what I should do, what the factor you use is 5 by 18. So 216 into 5 by 18. So if I do the 18 table, this is coming out as 12. 12 5s are 60 meter per second that I am getting. So it is 60 root 2 h by g. H is 1960. upon g is 9.8, so that is 200 into 2 400, that is 60 into 20, that comes out as 1200 meters. So I'll go for option A, standard question of projectile motion thrown from a height. Next, light string passing over a smooth light pulley connects two blocks m1 m2. If the acceleration of the system is g by 8, the ratio of their masses is, you directly know acceleration in this case is m1 minus m2 over m1 plus m2g. So this is g by 8, so 1 by 8 is m1 minus m2 over m1 plus m2. So if you do this, what you will get, m1 plus m2 is equal to 8 m1 minus 8 m2. So this is 9 m2 is equal to 7 m1. So m1 by m2, if I do, that is 9 by 7. So go for option B here. It could be 7 by 9 also, because I don't know which one is heavier, but since option 9 by 7 is given, I'll go for that only. 80 kg person parachuting and is experiencing a downward acceleration 2.8. The mass of the parachute is 5. The upward forces. So let's say this is the parachute and this is the person. Let's assume like this. So the upward force, let's say that be F, and the total mass we have is 80 and 5, that is 85 into 9.8, and it is going down with acceleration A. So what I can write, 85 into 9.8 minus F would be equal to what we have, 85 into A. A is 2.8. So F would be 85 common, 9.8 minus 2.8, that is 7. 7 5s are 35, 7 8s are 56, 595 Newton I can make it. So option A is the answer. Next. So after 24th, now the 25th. The radioactive substance X decays into another element Y. Only X was present. Lambda X, lambda Y are the constants of X and Y. Okay, so it is successive disintegration. And X and Y, the number of X and Y at any time t, the number of nuclei NY will be maximum. So you just remember, X decays to Y, and let's say Y decays to some Z, this sort of thing. This is lambda X, this is lambda Y. So for Y to be minimum, we say the equilibrium is established. That is maximum, we say when both the reactions have the same rate. That means the rate of the first reaction depends on lambda X into Nx, the second one depends on lambda Y into Ny. So you know that is maximum when lambda X Nx is equal to lambda Y Ny. That is a standard result. Go for option C. I am not explaining it because if you know this, you can do, otherwise it would be tough. So if you have read that successive disintegration, you can directly do this. Next, FPP, FFN and NP are the nuclear forces. Simply the nuclear force between at the same respectively, assuming at the same distance. So if they are at the same distance, the force will be same. The nuclear force is independent of the charge, you know, and if it would have been the net force, the answer would have been the change, because then the Coulombic force will also appear between proton. But here I'll go for option C, because it's only nuclear force, it would be same at same distance. That should be written in the question. Next, block performs SHM with equilibrium x equal to 0. Graph of acceleration versus time is given. Which of the following is correct? So acceleration is 0, that means initially, that means it starts from mean position. Acceleration is negative, that means it goes towards positive direction. So phi is 0 for sure. So x would be of this form. I can directly say a sin omega t, and omega what I can make out is 2 pi by 4, that is pi by 2 into t. This is the sort of the thing we'll get. So displacement from equilibrium is maximum at 4 seconds. At 4 seconds acceleration is 0, that means it is at equilibrium. This is false. Speed is maximum at 4, yes, because it is at mean, speed will be maximum, so no point in going further. Next, you know in SHM speed is maximum at mean and acceleration is 0 at mean. Simple pendulum of length L has a maximum angular displacement theta. The maximum kinetic energy of the bob of mass m is, so it has a maximum angular displacement theta. So what we can say from energy conservation, it will go like this. So the maximum height it will descend is, if this length is L, you can say write L minus L cos theta. So 2gh, that is 2gl1 minus cos theta, that would be equal to v square or v max square, just energy conservation. So kinetic energy we are asked, so kinetic energy would be half mv max square. So you can directly go for with potential energy also. That would be, you can write as 2 will become 1 because you have multiplied by half mgl1 minus cos theta. So this is going to be the answer. We'll go for option C, direct energy conservation. Next, photon of energy 1 and 2.5 successively illuminate a metal whose work function is 0.5, ratio of maximum speed. We have done it so many times. K1 max comes out as 0.5, K2 max comes out as 2, that is 4 times. So kinetic energy has become 4 times, that means the speed will become double, so it is 1:2. Next, Maximum kinetic energy of photoelectric varies with the frequency. The photoelectrons varies with frequencies. So directly you know it is a straight line, and it would be with before if f naught it won't happen, so it would be option B here. You know this graph very much. Next, water flows steadily through a horizontal pipe of a variable cross section. If the pressure of the water is P at a point where the speed is V, then what is the pressure at another point where the speed is 2V? So it's a simply horizontal pipe, so no height, simple. Bernoulli will say P plus half rho V square would be equal to P dash plus half rho into 2V whole square. So P dash would be P plus half rho V square minus, if I do this would be 2 rho V square, that is P minus 3 by 2 rho V square. Go for option D, simple application of Bernoulli. That's an easy one. Next, a hole is made at the bottom of the tank filled with water. If the excess pressure at the bottom of the tank is 3 atmosphere, then the velocity of effluxes. So you can directly say if the excess pressure at the bottom, so you can directly make it out. This is the hole. So what we have there, it is atmospheric pressure. Here we have excess pressure. That means the difference of the two is given as 3 PATM. So let it be 1, let it be 2. What I can write? P1 plus speed would be almost 0 at this point, because we are assuming hole is very small. That would be equal to P2 plus half rho V square. So half rho V square would be equal to difference of the pressure, which is given as 3 P naught. So V will come out as root 6 P naught by rho. And what is P naught? P naught is given as 10 to the power 5 and density is 10 to the power 3. So root of 600 meter per second. So you can directly go for option C here. Next, assuming water is filled, you don't remember this was not an empty tank. Next, 2 points lie on the either side of an axis xy as shown. It is desired to produce an image of P at Q using a spherical mirror with xy as the optic axis. The mirror must be, so the mirror must be, first of all, you can make, if it is optic axis, one is above, one is down, so that means an inverted image. So inverted image clearly means it has to be a converging mirror, concave mirror. And what we can make it out, this height is getting increased, so it should be somewhere here, and it should be lying between F and 2F. I can directly make it out. Also you know this PQ, if they join, they will meet at this principal axis at center of curvature, so you can directly go for this. So it is converging in position to the left of P. That is going to be option A. Next, sun subtends an angle of 0.5 degree at the center of curvature of a concave mirror of radius of curvature 15 meter. The diameter of the image of the sun formed by the mirror is, so here let it be the mirror. The sun subtends 0.5 degree, so the rays, the extreme rays would be like this. They are making an angle 0.5 degree. Because sun is far away, we know the image will be formed at what we can say in the focal plane. So in the focal plane, the center of curvature is 2f distance, so they will be at some f like this. So after reflection, the image will be formed somewhere like this. So this would be the image that is going to be formed by the mirror, that is for sure in this case. So this is the image that is going to be formed. So what we can say, this angle is known, this distance is known. So what you can directly say, this diameter upon f would be that angle subtended, and that angle subtended is what you can say is the angle subtended, you can directly say is d by f is half degree. That is half degree into half into pi upon 180 in radians. So that diameter would be half into pi into 180 into the focal length, which would be 15 by 2. So it is 15, that is 12, that is pi by what I am getting, pi by 48. So this is pi by 48 meters, or 314 upon 48 centimeters I can go for. So it would be 48, if I do 96, it would be 6 point something I can go for. So 6.55 centimeter would be the answer here. So just we are going by the logic, it would be formed at f, and it would be somewhat like that. So we can directly look for this particular option. Next we will do for an equilateral triangular frame is made of 3 thin massless rods. 3 point masses of mass m each are fixed at the vertices of the frame as shown. The system is rotated with uniform speed omega about a fixed axis through A and normal to the plane of the triangular frame. Neglect the effect of gravity. The tension in the rod connecting between B and C is going to be okay. So again, it's a nicely designed question. What you will have, because it is going with the speed omega, so what I can see, the centripetal force that it should have, that would be equal to the, let's say, the tension would be somewhat like this, and this is the two tensions that will be acting here. You have to find the tension in this particular rod. So for finding the tension in this particular rod, so let it be T1, let it be T2. So one thing is clear, because it is rotating about this point A, the net force must be towards A. That means net force must be along T1, and if you have two forces, the resultant can be towards T1 only and only when this T2 is 0. If T2 would be there, it would be slightly deviated for sure, and it cannot execute that motion which is depicted here. So definitely T2 has to be 0, otherwise no option is possible here. Otherwise there will be, T2 will generate some tangential acceleration, the speed cannot remain constant here. So it's a very nicely designed question, and the option I'll go for is 0. Next, a circular disc rolls down an inclined plane, the ratio of rotational to the total kinetic energy. So what I can directly say, disc roll down an inclined plane. So first of all, what I can say, let's say K translational you write as half mv square, K rotational is half I omega square. Because it is a disc, I can write mr square by 2, omega would be v by r, pure rolling. So what I can make it out, it would be 1 by 4 mv square. So the total kinetic energy would be sum of these two, 3 by 4 mv square. So the rotational to total, that ratio would be 1:3. So you can directly go for option B in this case. Next, which logic gate is represented by the following logic gates? We have done this many times. Let's do it again. Start with the truth table, 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. So 0 0, it would be 1 1, so OR will give 1, so NOR will give 0. Next, 0 and 1. If I do 0 and 1, this will become 1 and 0. OR will still give 1, so it will still give 0, so 1 0 will give 0, last is 1 1. So 1 1 we have 0 0, OR will give 0, so NOR will give 1. So only 1 1 is 1, that means that is an AND gate, so go for the AND gate here. Next, in the circuit diagram, the diode will conduct current for a, what we will have now. So let's say this I take as a 0 thing, this would be 4. Now when it is in positive half cycle, let's say this would be 0 and it would be somewhat higher than this. So when it was somewhat higher, it has to be greater than 4, then only it will conduct, otherwise it won't conduct. And in the negative half cycle, what we will have, if it is 0, it will be somewhat negative, so it won't conduct. So it won't conduct in the negative cycle, it even won't conduct in the full positive cycle, it will only conduct when this voltage is greater than 4. So we can go for option C. Nicely designed question, not a tough one but a conceptual one. Next, lead bullet strikes a target with speed 480. If the bullet falls dead, that means its speed becomes 0. The rise in temperature of the bullet, assuming that the heat produced is equally shared. Okay, so I'm assuming the complete kinetic energy converted into heat. So the energy converted is half into, what is a lead bullet, the mass is given or not? Okay, let it be m into v square, 480 square. Now the half the energy is received, so half of this is received by bullet itself, so that would be ms delta t. Now mm goes cancelled, that was mass is not given. 1 by 4 into 480 into 480. Now what is specific heat? Specific heat is given as 0.023 calorie per gram. Okay, 0.03 calorie per gram. So I can write it as 0.03. Instead of calorie, I can write 4.2 joule per gram, that is into 10 to the power 3 joule per kg standard unit into delta T. So delta T now comes out as 480 into 480 upon 4 into 4.2, and if I write it, it would be 30 if I nullify this all. So this get cancelled. Now what we are left with, if we do, this is 4, 48 is 12, 3, this is 4. So 48 into 4 upon 4.2, that is less than 480 but won't be much lesser than 480. As per option, it should be 457 degrees Celsius. So you need not to calculate everything, you can use your mind. Next, the sides of a rectangle are this and this, taking the significant figures. So this has 3 figures, this is 2 figures, final answer will be in 2 figures, go for C, that's an easy one. Next, the frequency of a light wave in a material is this and wavelength is this, the refractive index is, so speed would be, V is f lambda, that is 2 in 10 to the power 14 into 5 into 10 to the power minus 7, that is 10 into 10 to the power 7 or 1 into 10 to the power 8, so that is C by N, so N directly comes out as 3. So go for option C, simply you know refractive index is C by V. Next, in a Fraunhofer diffraction, the slit width is 0.2, screen is 2 meter away, wavelength of light is this, then the distance between the first minimum on either side of the central maximum is. So where is the first minimum on one side? I can say that when a sin theta is lambda. So sin theta comes out as what we can say, this comes out as lambda by a. Lambda is 5 into 10 to the power minus 7, a is 2 into 10 to the power minus 4, so that is very small. It is coming out as 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 3, so I can write it as theta only, and this theta is tan theta, that would be y by l. So y would be 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 3 into l, which is 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 meters. So this would be, let's say, what we can say, this is the slit, so this is at this distance. So this is the one, the second one will be here, so the gap between the first minimum on both sides would be double of this, that is 10 into 10 to the power minus 3, that is 10 to the power minus 2 meters you can go for. Next, you could have directly gone for width of central maxima is 2 lambda l by a, that would be easier. Next, 43rd, now third last question. N number of waves are produced on a string in 0.5 second. Okay, that means frequency would be 2n. Now the tension in the string is doubled. The number of waves produced in 0.5 second for the same harmonic will be, okay, for the same harmonic will be. So n number of waves was produced on a string in 0.5 second. Now the tension in the string is doubled. So what you have done, tension is doubled, that means V will become root 2 times. Okay, the number of waves produced in 0.5 second for the same harmonic would be, you can write it as V by L, so V becomes root 2, so that will become V has become root 2, so that for the same number of waves produced in 0.5 seconds for the same harmonic. So V has become root 2, so that will also become root 2, so that will become n root 2. I was getting confused because I calculated for 1 second, it is asking for half second. For 1 second it would be 2 root 2n, but for 0.5 second it would be root 2n. You can directly go for that. Next, in the case of a closed organ pipe, which harmonic the pth overtone will be? So pth overtone, you know, first overtone represents third, so pth overtone will represent 2p plus 1. So that would be option A. Next, a running man, this is a very nice question, I just remember just by reading the word. A running man has half the kinetic energy of that of a boy of half of his mass. The man speeds up by 1 so as to have the same kinetic energy as that of the boy. The original speed of the man is. This looks like a very simple one, but it's not that simple to solve. So for the man has half the kinetic energy as that of a boy of half his mass. So let's say the kinetic energy of the man is half mv square, and this is half of the boy, let's say, who is running with some other speed, let's say vb square. Now the man speeds up by 1 meter per second, so that now it becomes v plus 1 whole square, and now it has half m vb square. Initially it was half of that, sorry, so it was half of that. Now, so going by this logic, what we can go for here, the original speed of the boy, the man, so as to have the same kinetic energy. Okay, so boy mass is half of that, so boy mass is half, so I can use that particular thing also here. So just by going by the logic, what I can say, half mv plus 1 whole square, that is half mvb square. So from half mvb square I can write it from there as equal to mv square. So what you have, v plus 1 whole square is equal to 2v square, so v plus 1 is equal to root 2v. So what we have, v will be equals to 1 upon root 2 minus 1. That is going to be the answer, 1 upon root 2 minus 1. That is going to be option C here. So it's a nice question. I was very happy to see this question in the paper. Okay, thanks for watching. Please sharing the channel. Thank you once again.